Here are the top 5 scariest Five Nights at Freddy's VR jump scares.
Populated areas before bleeding out, as to not ruin the customer experience.
Here are the top 5 worst jump scares in Five Nights at Freddy's VR in my opinion. At number 5, we have Freddy's jump scare. I don't think it's horrible, I just think it looks weird how he just gets close and shakes. At number 4, we have Chica's, and again, I just think this one looks weird how her head's turned. At number 3, we have Circus Baby, and honestly, I don't even think this one is that bad. I just really hate the plush babies. At number 2, we have the plush babies from the Halloween DLC, and honestly, I just hate this game mode, and it's really unfair. And the number 1 worst jump scare in Five Nights at Freddy's VR is the plush baby. I just hate how high-pitched it is, and I've been jump scared by it too many times. Here are the top 5 best jump scares in Five Nights at Freddy's VR in my opinion. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have the Fire Foxy from the Halloween DLC, and I just think his design and attack animation looks cool. In the number 4 spot, we have Foxy again from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I think it looks really cool how he jumps at the camera. At the number 3 spot, we have Wither Bonnie, and I think his design is cool, and it's cool how he reaches out to the player. In the number 2 spot, we actually have Funtime Freddy, and I didn't know this, but he can actually walk through the door too, which is cool. And the best jump scare in Five Nights at Freddy's VR is Nightmare Fredbear. He has a whole animation where he reaches on the door frame and the dresser to help him walk in, which is very scary and very cool. Here are the top 5 hardest challenges in Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Foxy's Parts and Service. I always thought this one was pretty challenging because you have to keep an eye on him and he moves around a lot. On the hard mode version of this challenge, the color of the batteries actually change every few seconds, so you have to be fast putting them in. In the number 4 spot, we have Build-A-Mangle from the Halloween DLC. I feel like the conveyor belts and the TV cycle a little bit too fast, and you have to shock the little Freddys on the conveyor belt. If you put in the wrong parts, you'll be jump scared by Mangle, and you only have a certain amount of time to put in all the right parts. And at the number 3 spot, we have Ennard's Vent Repair. This one is especially difficult because there's 3 different levels in the game mode, and if you die on any of the levels, you go all the way back to the first one. On the hard mode version of this level, you have even less time, and the tasks are more difficult, which make it very frustrating. In the number 4 spot, we have Night 5 in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. This is easily the hardest Night 5 level in this game. Power drains super fast, which makes this level very luck dependent. And the hardest challenge in Five Nights at Freddy's VR is Plush Baby. There is no reason this should be this difficult. They should have removed it from the game or made it much easier. Here are the top 5 easiest challenges in Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Coming in at number 5, we have Circus Baby, and this one's on the list just because of how simple it is. All you have to do is close a closet door when Circus Baby looks at you, and sometimes when you open it, she'll still be there, so you have to close it, which makes this a very easy minigame. At the number 4 spot, we have Mangle's Vent Repair. This is another one that's easy just because of how simple it is. All you have to do is flip switches and press buttons. The challenge is supposed to be that Mangle's coming for you while you do it, but you can finish it so fast that she'll only come once by the time you're done. At the number 3 spot, we have Bonnie's Parts and Service. This is a very simple minigame, and if you know what you're doing, you can finish it in less than 15 seconds. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Funtime Freddy. This might be surprising to a few people because the minigame can be pretty challenging if you play it as intended, but there is an exploit where you could just hold the door closed the whole night and win. And the easiest level in Five Nights at Freddy's VR is Night 1 in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. It's impossible to die on this night because Springtrap isn't active. I don't even think there's any phantoms or errors, so you don't have to do anything this whole night. Here are the top 5 best game modes in Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Don't get me wrong, this game mode is fun, and it's probably my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game, but it does get a little bit repetitive, and winding up the music box is kind of annoying. At the number 4 spot, we have Parts and Service. In this game mode, you repair the 4 main animatronics, which is very fun and interesting. This game mode was a great addition to the game. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 3. It might be controversial to put this above Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but I do think this one is more interesting because of the errors and phantom jump scares. This is also the scariest out of the first 3 games in my opinion. At the number 2 spot, we have Vent Repair. In this game mode, you have to do repairs in vents while certain animatronics try to get you. This is a very unique and cool concept for a VR game. My only 2 complaints are that there's only 2 levels and the Ennard level is a little bit too hard. And the best game mode in Five Nights at Freddy's VR is Five Nights at Freddy's 1. This game mode is a classic and you can tell the developers put the most thought into this one. Here are the top 5 worst game modes in Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Like I said in the last top 5, I don't think this is a bad game mode, I just think it gets repetitive winding the music box and shining the light. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is still one of my favorite Fnaf games. At the number 4 spot, we have the Night Terrors game mode. This game mode is very scary, however I found the teleporting to be very glitchy. I also don't really like the Funtime Freddy level because you have to listen for breathing. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have the Danger Keep Out levels from the Halloween DLC. This game mode is basically a Halloween remake of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, which is a cool concept, but I found it to be kind of lazy because there's only 3 levels and the gameplay is kind of simple. At the number 2 spot, we have the Afraid of the Dark levels from the Halloween DLC. Like the previous game mode, this one feels a little bit lazy because there's only 3 levels and one of them is a Plush Baby remake. And the worst game mode in Five Nights at Freddy's VR is Dark Rooms. The levels in this game mode are really not that fun in my opinion, and it has Plush Baby, which is easily the worst and hardest level.